Hey guys, we've started to work on aiming mode. We got aiming mode working and we were shooting the cannon. Not really ready to do that. I want shooting to be in a separate mode because I want the camera to then follow the cannonball. You guys saw that in the demo. So else if mode is equal to 3, this is shot follow mode. We follow our shot. We follow the cannonball through the air. Let's keep updating this. 2 for shot follow mode. Let's add this to void set shot follow mode. Mode equals 2. Okay. While I'm here, I'm also going to introduce the idea of this. If we're not setting the mode to 0, 1, or 2, 0, 1, or 2, 0, 1, or 2, 2 is shot follow mode, 0, 1, or 2. If we're down here in else, this is a null mode. That does nothing. That way we can just say, hey, update method, don't do anything. If I set it to mode 4 or mode -1 or whatever, nothing will happen. Okay, shot follow mode, here we go. We don't actually shoot the cannon in aim mode. We shoot the cannon in, well, we can shoot it here. We shoot it in aim mode, but we then set shot follow mode. And let's talk about activating and deactivating this crosshair I just built. So there it is. It's a game object called crosshair. It has an image which we can turn on or off. And that, as you can see down here, makes the trigger disappear. So let's go do that. So this thing needs yet another game object called the crosshair. We can find it simple enough. Crosshair equals GameObject.find crosshair. And actually, while I'm being picky, I actually want to be able to turn on the image component. So why don't I actually go ahead and make this an image, which I need to make sure I'm using unityengine.ui. You may not have this in your script, you need it. And so when I get the crosshair, I have to say GameObject.find the crosshair thing, .get component image. Now that I have that, I can use the enable and disable. This is called enabling and disabling a component. And you know, by default, I'll disable it. I generally don't want the crosshair showing. When do I want it showing? I want it showing in aim mode. So when I call the function set aiming mode, I should say crosshair.enabled equals true. And when I set shot follow mode, I should turn that off because we're shooting. All right, so let's see. Let's watch this happen. The game starts, I don't see a crosshair. If I press spacebar out here, nothing happens. If I come up to my cannon, I press space, there's my crosshair. If I shoot, crosshair disappears. And I kind of get in this mode where nothing happens. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, so we have this general idea. We have to go back to previous modes on certain situations. So what if I didn't want to shoot, for example? Start with that. So if someone presses jump, and here I'm using get button down, and here I used get button. There's a difference between the two. Here I just want the two events to occur at any point in time. But here inside of update, I can rely on the first time he presses jump again, get out of this mode. Set moving mode. He basically doesn't want to shoot the cannon. He wants to keep moving on. So then we've got set shot follow mode if you press fire 1, set move mode if you press jump. We come into the shot follow mode. We should have, once this is complete, go back to aim mode so you can shoot a second ball. Okay, so aim mode, shot follow mode. Okay, this is all about getting the camera to follow the cannonball. And so here's the thing, when we did a cannon.shoot, we actually got the cannonball because a long time ago, I wrote a Canon controller and I created a method called shoot, which returns the cannonball as a rigid body. And I did it actually thinking about this, that having the cannonball here, we're going to start off as null because you don't have it until you actually shoot the cannon and it will explode. So cannonball null, ooh, when we shoot it, we get it, right? So I should say cannonball equals, and it's a rigid body, which is perfect because to get the camera to follow the cannonball, we have to work with the velocity of the rigid body. Right, so simple enough. We need to start messing with the camera again. Let's hope this time it doesn't go all wonky from some weird scaling issue. Okay, the main camera, transform.position. Swell, swell, swell. Where should it be? It should generally be behind the cannonball as it flies through the air. Where's the cannonball? The cannonball is at at the transform position. How do I go behind the cannonball? When we say behind, we mean relative to the direction it's currently moving. And that direction is best understood by the rigid body velocity vector. So the cannonball is already a rigid body here, thus it has a velocity. And we want some kind of fudge factor here. Basically, if the ball's going at 1 meter per second, I would be a quarter meter behind it. But if the ball was going at 100 meters per second, I'm going to be 25 meters per second behind it. So the faster it's going, the further back I want to be. That should provide kind of a nice rubber band effect when the ball leaves the cannon. Right, here we go. Well, where's the camera going to look, right? We could set its forward, or just as an example, I'm going to give you the look at method here. It's really useful for lots of situations. When you want something to point right towards something, you can just say look at. And you say cannonball.transform.position. And that tells exactly where the main camera should look at. And it's going to constantly update which way it's looking because the cannonball is constantly moving around. Let's watch this. So we come up here, we hit space, we shoot, and we get a bunch of errors. All right, here's what's up. Our cannonball blew itself up. This was totally expected. But once it's dead, you can't ask it where the heck it is, and you can't tell the camera to follow it. So all of this is under the assumption that the cannonball is still alive. And Unity has this awesome system where if an object gets destroyed, which we did in the cannonball controller, we destroyed the cannonball, then all references to it get set to null. So really, I want to say something like, hey, as long as there exists a cannonball, follow it. Follow the cannonball. And then after that, guess what? The cannonball is now dead. What do I want to do? I kind of want to go back to aim mode so that you can fire another one. Kind of want to go back to aim mode so we can follow another one. Let's watch this. It's not exactly what I want, but it's a start. Here's the thing. Couple things are bugging me. One, I want to see the explosion, especially if it's over on the other side of a mountain. I want to be able to see it and not immediately jump back to the cannon. Let's fix that problem first. Simple enough. Set aiming mode, and then here we go. Yeah, I want do nothing. I mean, there's this mode where nothing happens. I want to use that. I'm going to set mode equal -1. Do nothing. That's a comment. And then instead of setting aiming mode immediately, I'm just going to delay it. I'm going to say invoke set aiming mode. And I'm going to say invoke that guy in 1 second. So that way I can watch the explosion. It would be great. Run out my cannon, press space, aim a little bit. And then for 1 second we do nothing. I want more than 1 second. I want to watch the carnage for 2 seconds. And after 2 seconds, I'll return to aiming mode. That's what invoke does. It invokes a method with a delay. Yep, that looks good to me. Well, we can tweak all these values. One of the things that's bothering is my aiming is kind of reverse. It feels like I'm trying to fly an airplane when I'm aiming the thing. I put a -V right here. Just a side note, it's up to you. WASD, some people would press down to up to down, depends. Okay, cool. I'm pretty happy with that. We can shoot cannonballs. We've got that nothing mode. I think that's enough for this video.